Welcome, everyone. We have a very special interview today with my personal physician, Dr. Kim Scheuer, and let's get into it. Kim, can you tell me what's your mission in life?
I have several, but the general broad one is to leave the world a better place than when I came in and do what I can to do that. The next is in my profession as a physician, I have changed my own life by changing my lifestyle, which has incredibly improved my life. I struggled with food addiction. I struggled with weight until I was 47 years old and discovered lifestyle medicine. And so my mission is to teach others what I know so that they can feel as good as I do now.
Wow, I need more of that because I will admit I'm a food addict and I've struggled with weight almost all my life. In previous episodes, I mentioned I'm weigh 90 pounds less than my all-time high, but I've gained about 15 pounds in my latest lapse into food addiction. So how do you handle a patient like me? Because I have an appointment with you tomorrow. How are you going to help me?
It is very, very individualized with every person, but I'm gonna share a lecture that I give on food addiction with you right now. And then when we meet tomorrow, we'll talk about what happened, what derailed you, revisit your why of why you want to be healthy, and start working on tips to get you back on the train. And all of us who have food addiction problems or any addiction problem have a tendency to lapse. So what we'll do tomorrow too is actually prepare you for the next time that may happen. And what my goal is that, we're surrounded by so many triggers. So let's avoid the triggers. But if we do get in a situation where we relapse, let's hope it's longer apart from the last time you did and shorter, so that you get, like for me, even if I was traveling recently and I had to eat unhealthy for a couple of days, but the minute I got home, I'm back on track. Instead of, it used to be, it would be I'd beat myself up and I'd be out, it's not even worth it, I've messed up, so let's just keep messing up. And it would take months to years. So we'll give you some tips and we'll talk tomorrow about how to get you back on track as soon as possible.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to the lecture and take it away.
All right. So I am a good doctor. I'm not the best at technical things, so I'll do the best I can. So you let me know if I do this correctly. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, let me just open it up.
Great.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the facts of addiction. And I'm Dr. Kim Scheuer, and I have the privilege of taking care of you, Neil. And you're one of my favorite patients. And so thank you for letting me be in your life. But I work for Love Life Telehealth, love.life telehealth. And I also started Doc's Lifestyle Medicine. Derek Olson is my partner, Kim Scheuer. We started Lifestyle Medicine program. And you can find out more information from me on Docs or at love.life telehealth. So, hi, I'm Kim. I'm a chocoholic. I love food, and I struggled with food addiction for all of my life. From the age of 13, when I stopped growing up and started growing out, till the age of 47, I struggled regularly with food addiction. I've done everything from Weight Watchers, diet centers. I've starved myself. I tried to be bulimic, but I couldn't vomit, which is good because I never was fully bulimic. I just did the binging part. And when I was 47, I realized that my mother, who had been 48 when she got breast cancer. And so I thought, how am I going to prevent breast cancer? And I started reading the China study and watching Forks Over Knives and learning about lifestyle medicine, and changed my diet completely. A friend of mine went to nutrition school and she gave me a 3-day food diary. And I had been what I call a Milky Way vegetarian for most of my adult life. I love Milky Way bars. I would binge on them, and not just the little Milky Way bars, but the king size, several of them a day. I would binge on vegan junk or vegetarian junk food. I was a cheeseaholic. I would have cheese maybe 5 times a day. And I was big. I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am now, and I'm only about 5 feet. So it was a third of my weight. And my friend came back after I gave her the food diary, which I thought was better than most people in America. She said, "You eat like crap. You need to change your diet." And she introduced me to salads. I never eaten anything green. I hated green stuff. She gave me green smoothies. And for a month, I had a green smoothie a day and ate her food. She fed me for a month, and I paid for her kitchen. And in that month, my weight plummeted, my cholesterol plummeted, my energy improved, and it was amazing. So I have always been a food addict. I still am. I love food. You can see me here, eating chocolate. Then in the one on the farthest one was eating chocolate. The middle one is in Vietnam. And then the last one is a vegan or a plant-based Thanksgiving at a friend's house. So I still love food. I just can eat more high nutrient density, lower calorie foods and feel great. So what is addiction? So substance use disorder is diagnosed in the DSM-5 as having problems with impaired control. You want to cut down, you want to stop, but you're not able to. That's me. Social problems, avoiding situations, giving up activities because of the substance use, risky behavior, continued use despite knowing it's a problem. I would overeat despite being overweight and knowing it was unhealthy. Physical dependence, having withdrawal symptoms when the substance isn't available. And this fits food addiction. Now, food addiction, so in other words, it's impaired control, repeat use despite negative consequences, social impairment, tolerance, withdrawal, reward sensitivity, and cravings. All of it fits with alcohol abuse, with narcotic abuse, with drug abuse, and with food abuse. But the DSM does not say that food addiction is real yet. There are some things that say that binge eating disorder or bulimia is very similar to anything else. And what's interesting to me is you can use opioid or dopamine receptor blockers like naltrexone or bupropion, which we give to alcoholics or people who are on heroin to diminish their cravings and their addictions. If you give them to people who are food addicted, the food intake and binge eating patterns come down same as other substance abuse disorders. So even though it isn't officially recognized, in my mind, with all of the same diagnoses, ways to diagnose, and that certain meds do the same thing, it's the same. And you can see, in fact, there are imaging of the head shows that the areas of the brain for food addicts is the same, that goes up the same as a alcoholic or something like that. So to me, it is absolutely real. So even though it's considered food addiction, I think it's a real thing. And for me, it is. Again, the cycle of food addiction is very similar to the cycle of any other addiction problem. You have, if you eat certain things like hyperpalatable foods, it causes a dopamine increase in your brain, the same as any kind of cocaine would do or alcohol would do, things like that, which causes tolerance, craving, withdrawal, emotional behavioral changes, compulsive eating and binging or compulsive use of the substance. And so it fits in the exact same categories as other addictions. So what are hyperpalatable foods? Well, the food companies, the food industry has manipulated processed foods. And some people look at ultra processed foods or processed foods. But what it is it's highly palatable. They make it so that you can't just eat one. And they do that by adding fat and salt and sugars. So our brains crave them mentally and physically, just like the addictive drugs, which increases the dopamine pathways in our brain, which is a happy hormone. You cannot just eat one. As we eat more and more processed foods, many of us elevate our dopamine levels so that we need more and more to even be at a baseline. So just like any other issue, what works for me is abstinence. So get rid of it. And then after a month or so, you'll notice that if you go back to it, you're now back at a baseline that's more normal. And you're satisfied and food tastes better. Just like smokers, when they quit smoking, they can taste foods differently. When you quit using salt for a month, added salts, if you try it again after that, it almost tastes too salty or almost tastes too sugary. And that's because you've reset your pathway in your brain and in your taste buds too. So the highly palatable foods, the hyperpalatable foods override our signals of fullness and satisfaction. So we need to eat more. And there's a lot of reasons for that. In the hyperpalatable foods, it's a high calorie, low nutrient density. So even though we're eating a lot of high calories quickly, our body still thinks it's starving because it doesn't have as many of the nutrients. So what our goal is to switch from the high calorie, low nutrient to the high nutrient, low calorie foods. And when you do that, you automatically lose weight, crave less, and it becomes a much better thing for people. And it also decreases inflammation. There's so many things it does by getting rid of hyperpalatable or ultra processed foods, which are so dangerous. Great books out there like Ultra Processed People, very interesting information out there. But what are the foods that are most addictive? In our country, pizza, the cheese has high fat, salt together, because in nature, we don't really see things that have high salt and fat together or high sugar and salt and fat together. But potato chips, ice cream, like ice cream has high fat and high sugar together. Potato chips, high salt and high fat. So these are the hyperpalatable, most addictive foods around. What's not most addictive? You don't usually see people addicted to broccoli or cauliflower or, lettuce. And it took me a long time to learn. It took me the month of having a green smoothie a day to be all of a sudden craving salads. And so fruits, grains, vegetables, legumes, those are higher nutrient density, lower calorie. Fruits have, fructose in it, which is a sugar. It's a complex carbohydrate, which is made into sugar, and it tastes great and it's so sweet, but you don't know it when you first change from hyperpalatable foods to fruits. But it only has the one thing. Grains only have one thing, the carbohydrates. The vegetables only have one thing. You're not having the salt and the fat in the high density. And so it's not as addictive. There is actually now come out with a Yale addiction scale, which standardizes whether you might have a food addiction problem. And so it asks a whole bunch of questions of, in the past 12 months, have you had this? How many times a month? Have you, what foods do you have problems with? What are your trigger foods, if you have any? And so they ask if you eat more than you planned of certain foods. Like for me, if you put chocolate in front of me, I will overeat it. If you put broccoli in front of me, I won't overeat it. I'll enjoy it, but I won't overeat it. So do you keep certain foods? Do you keep eating when you're not hungry? That's me. Certain foods, especially. Do you eat to the point of feeling ill? Do you go out of your way to make sure you get certain foods even when they're not available? When you cut certain foods out, do you get anxious or have withdrawal? Do you avoid certain situations where certain foods are available due to fear of overeating? All of these questions are part of it. Do you feel guilt or self-loathing? And if you do, if you take the Yale test, and I have the website here where you can just take this test. If you take it and it says that you have a food addiction problem, don't feel bad. You are not alone. Up to 20% of the US population has a food addiction problem. Other statistics that say that over 70 million people in America have it. And there are actually, just like AA, there's OA, Overeaters Anonymous, there's Food Addicts Anonymous, there's 12-step principles that you can use that are similar to any other addiction group, like Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous. And they advise people to abstain from very high problematic foods, which are fats, oils, salts, and refined flours. So again, ultra processed, highly palatable foods. And luckily you can meet up with people like the doctors at Love Life Teleah Health, who work with people who have eating issues all the time. So we can help, we hope. But you can take control of your own life. Each patient carries his own doctor inside him. So you have power over this. It just takes some work. What can you do as of today? You can figure out your why. The why of, what do I want out of my life? Why do I even worry about this? Why? What is my purpose in life and why? And it's not just, I want to stop overeating chocolate so I'm not fat. It's more, I want to live a healthy, vibrant life and be available to do my goals in life, which are to make the world a better place. That's my true why. So that's why I want to be the healthiest I can be, and not let food control me and control my health. The biggest thing I find is get the junk out of your house. Willpower is so tough. And we are in a society surrounded by unhealthy things, TV commercials. When you go out, your family's like, Manja, eat up. So make your house clean. The rule in my house is it is an absolutely clean place. If we go out, my significant other can have whatever he wants. But in my house, it's clean, because if it's in my house, it's in my mouth. And so I want to have everything as clean as I can be in my house. I don't want to have to fight the temptation. I want to just not have the temptation there. Ask support from friends and family. Your friends and family want the best of you and for you. And so ask them to say, look, this may not be how you eat, but my doctor says I need to do this for my health. So please help me be the best, as healthy as I can. You need to treat yourself as somebody who deserves to be happy. We are so hypercritical of ourselves that we don't cut ourselves a break. So please do that. Make sure that you know that you're someone who deserves to be happy. Take it one day at a time. Forgive yourself, because we are all human, including me. I still make mistakes and I have to forgive myself. Know your triggers and never eat them again. And so triggers are different for everybody. My trigger is definitely chocolate. My trigger is not necessarily the same things as somebody else. My significant other has a trigger of actually a pumpkin cookie that I make. And so we don't keep it in the house because he would eat it, even though it's healthy. He would eat too much. So know your triggers and never have them again, because it's so much easier not to have to crave, not to have to fight that feeling. And as soon as you eat it, you want more. It's like a smoker. As soon as they have, or an alcoholic, as soon as they have the one sip, they want more and more and more. So whatever your trigger is, never have that again. For me, I will never have a Milky Way bar again in my life, because that would send me overboard. Start with a good breakfast every day. People sometimes skip breakfast, but the earlier you eat, prepare yourself for your day. It doesn't have to be as soon as you wake up, for sure, but have a good, nutritious meal earlier in the day so that you're ready for the day and you're ready to move, and then you don't crave later on. And I make a very strict cutoff for me at 7 p.m. because When I'm tired, when I'm stressed, that's when I'm weak. And at night, you process food differently. And so for me to be able to get good sleep, I have a lighter meal at dinner, like a salad. I have my bigger meals in the day so that I have it and use it while I'm doing the day. And then at night, I have a strict cutoff at 7 p.m. I don't care if I'm hungry later. I'm not going to die if I don't eat for the rest of the night. I can get myself a tea or some water, and that helps me sleep better so that I'm not grouchy or weaker the next day in terms of my willpower. Eat more high fiber, high nutrient dense foods. So actually, I eat way more than I used to, and I've lost weight and feel great, and I have great energy because I have my food is packaged like an apple is packaged with fiber and water, and it's higher nutrient density and lower fat, and it's got high fiber, which we don't digest fiber, we poop it out. So that's great. It's like free stuff. I don't have to worry about the calories. Change your self-talk, and surround yourself with positives. And again, more of what you can do. Number 1 through 4, I mentioned before because it's so important, but it's abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. I think it makes a huge difference. Focus on what you can have, not what you can't have. So I get to eat amazingly delicious, unbelievably great variety of foods every day. It's not, and I don't crave this stuff anymore. Like I don't crave my cheese anymore. I don't even like the taste of it anymore. But I didn't think I would ever be able to give that up. Get the support. Keep a diary. When I fall back and fall off the wagon, I'll start with a food diary, an exercise diary, and so that I keep an eye of what I'm doing, because I used to forget that I had the cookies in the morning, and so I shouldn't really have the cake in the afternoon. So the food diary really helped me. Dr. Greger has the Daily Dozen, which is an app you can put on your phone. And he also has the 21 Tweaks on there, which is a really easy way to keep a journal. It's just a click off box of healthy things. Plan ahead for parties and social gatherings and holidays. It's hard during the holidays. So when I travel to visit my family, I pre-make food and bring it with me, or I make food at their house that I know I can eat. Prepare for relapses. We all do. So don't beat yourself up, Neil. Don't beat yourself up. We just need to reset and restart as soon as possible. And celebrate the good things. Celebrate the fact that you're coming back to me. Yay! So we can work on this. And read things like Dopamine Nation, which is not about food addiction necessarily. It's about addiction. Read and watch The Pleasure Trap. There are so many great books out there that talk about addiction. If you need to, check out Overeaters Anonymous or Bright Line Eating, or get cognitive behavioral therapy. Even transcranial magnetic stimulation helps. Neurofeedback helps. But you don't need all that if we can work together to get the junk out of the way and get you helped in a different way. Surround yourself with positives and make sure you get enough rest, because if you're not rested, you're going to be more tempted. Make sure you move and exercise to make your body move, and have fun in life. So I practice lifestyle medicine, which focuses on 6 major pillars: healthy nutrition, activity, avoiding toxins. And for me, ultra-processed foods, hyperpalatable foods is a toxin. So I avoid toxins. Adequate sleep, stress reduction, relationships. Those are the 6. And then Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute added time outdoors, which makes a huge difference for me. The infrared of the sun makes a great difference. Being in nature makes a difference. Finding a purpose, finding your purpose of why you're here in this world, finding joy. Avoid being hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, because those all will make you want to overeat. I now live the lifestyle I prescribe for my patients. And now, instead of addicted to food, I'm addicted to health. So I spend time outdoors. I have purpose. I get activity. I eat all wonderful foods. I spend time with friends. This is what I want for you. If you need help, certainly come talk to any one of the doctors at Love.Life Telehealth. We are in all 50 states and DC. We can see people overseas. I'm licensed to see patients in 23 states, which you can see below. But if you can't see me because you're not in my state, all of the docs at Love.Life Telehealth live the lifestyle we prescribe for our patients. We live this lifestyle. Many of us have had issues with food addiction or unhealthy lifestyle habits before, and we all live the lifestyle we prescribe for our patients, and it makes us happier, and hopefully will make and healthier. Hopefully will make you happier and healthier too. So that's my presentation for now. I'll stop the share, and then if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. I particularly like the snowshoeing photo. Very nice. We have a lot of snowshoeing here. Just a question. Again, from my personal experience, I've encountered heart disease, 3 heart attacks, adult onset diabetes. How many of these things, these lifestyle diseases that kill us, can be ameliorated just from adjusting our lifestyle?
So 80% at least. We all are born with certain genetics, but then we don't have to have those same genetics affect us the way it affected our parents. For example, a lot of people say, oh, I have heart disease. Well, my family has heart disease. I'm going to get it no matter what. But what you do inherit also, besides your genetics, is your food habits and your lifestyle habits. So you eat the same as your parents, or you work out, you move or not move the same as your parents. And genetics changes. We can turn on and off genes. So for example, there's the same genes in the cells of your eyes as in your finger, the exact same gene. It's what's turned on or off. So we can turn on or off your propensity for heart disease by your lifestyle. And Dr. Dean Ornish has proven that. He's done studies on prostate cancer, and people who have prostate, the genes for prostate cancer, when they do a healthy lifestyle for a month, 40 different genes that promote prostate cancer are turned on or off, depending on whether you have a healthy lifestyle or not. So, for example, breast cancer in my family. How do I prevent breast cancer, which is very big in my family, and colon cancer, both? My change of my lifestyle changed my epigenetics. So my genes are the same, but which genes are turned on and off are different now. And 80% of chronic disease, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancers are preventable by changing your lifestyle. And it's never too late. I've had 90-year-old patients change. The earlier you change, the better, there's no question. But there's some research out there that if you change to a healthy lifestyle at age 50, you can add 8 more years to your general life, which is amazing. So we want people to change at any time. Start today.
I'm impressed. But I also know myself, and I think I'll need some additional coaching besides just doctor appointments. Does Love.Life Telehealth offer that now?
Absolutely. So we do have a coach. You can sign up for individual appointments, but you can also sign up for programs. So we have a healthy lifestyle program. We have a longevity program. We have a concierge program. We have a disease reversal program. So we have these programs too. And in those programs, not only do you get the doctor's visits, depending on which program you use, how many you'll need, you get coaching, individual and group coaching. You get access to a library that has a lot of information, that gives you lots of health information. And then you get access to a private group that will support each other, because part of lifestyle is not feeling alone, not being alone. It's having the support. So yes, we do have coaching, and we love our coach. He's awesome. So
Thank you for that. I find in my own personal life, approximately 1 out of 3 people that I meet and have a conversation deep enough with them that they talk about their health problems, at least 1 out of 3 say they're type 2 diabetics. And um, is this, some people have claimed that they can reverse that with diet and lifestyle. Have you found that to be the case?
Absolutely. One of my favorite things to do as a physician is de-prescribing medicines. So I'll have people come to me with diabetes. Some are on oral meds, some are on insulin, etc. And then they need other medicines for the medicines, or other medicines to protect their kidneys and their heart. And we can absolutely 100% reverse many, many people with type 2 diabetes. It depends on how long you've had it, how bad you have it, there's so many things that can happen, but I've changed people's lives. Like, even I have a neighbor who is a type 1 diabetic who had been on 15 meds, I think it was. I can't remember exactly how many meds, since he was diabetic type 1, since he was younger than 10 years old. I have gotten him off of almost all of his meds and decreased his insulin so much, because when we changed his lifestyle, it changed his epigenetics, it changed his weight, it changed his inflammation, it changed his insulin sensitivity. So many people think that they're type 2, it's because of how much sugar they eat, and it's really not. And we can discuss that individually with patients, but it really isn't. And that's just a side effect of it, that your sugars go high, but the root cause is actually something else. It's intramyocellular fat, and we need to deal with that, and it's insulin resistance. If we can reverse the insulin resistance in type 2 diabetics, and their pancreatic cells are not damaged to the point of destruction, your body wants to heal. So those cells will heal, and you will heal, and you can then reverse your type 2 diabetes. And even type 1s, they can't reverse their type 1 diabetes because that's an autoimmune thing, and their pancreatic cells are already destroyed. But they can use so much less insulin because they don't have the insulin resistance. And insulin's expensive, and you don't want to, in type 1 patients, you want to prevent all of the future problems that can happen from too much sugar in your bloodstream, end stage vascular diseases, blindness, kidney disease, where you have to be on dialysis, etc. So the earlier we can get you, the better. But even if you've been diabetic for a long time, we can improve your symptoms, get you down mostly off of medicine. Sometimes we want you on the least that works. We don't want you on what you don't need.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So if somebody goes to the website and sees that they live in a state that you're licensed in and would like to start with a visit with you, what do they have to do?
So go to love.life or look up Love Life Telehealth or anything like that. Go to the telehealth program, see if I'm in your state. If I am, I'd love to see you. If not, there are wonderful, wonderful doctors in your state. And you just fill out a form, sign up, and we will send you once you've signed in and gotten into an appointment, then we ask you to sign into our patient portal. You sign into the patient portal. We send you a ton of questionnaires, your past medical history, your food. It has everything: past medical, past surgical, your meds, your how much exercise you do, how much stress you have, all that. You fill out this paperwork, and then I review it before I see you. So I have a lot of information even before I see you. You can sign up for either a 30-minute or a 60-minute appointment. And the 60-minute appointment is what I suggest for most first patients, so that we really have time to go into depth, especially if you have multiple problems. If you want to just sign up for the 30-minute patient visit, I will do the best I can to get everything done. But I do all the work beforehand before I even see you to get that into your chart, to get an idea of who you are. And then we talk about what your goals are and what's going on and how we can help you. If you sign up for any of the programs, Anthony or Susan will call you and set you up and tell you how to work on things. And then we see you, and it's just fun. We try to make every appointment the most time you can be. It's different than an in-person visit, because when you go to a doctor's office, you have to fill out the paperwork while you're there. You have to wait for a room to be available. You get the nurse to take you back and take your vital signs. By the time I see a patient in my old practice, I'd maybe have 10 minutes with him. Here you have the full half an hour or the full hour, and we make the most of all of your time.
Thank you so much. Any questions that you would have liked me to ask you that I haven't asked you yet?
I'd love to know what your experience with Love Life Telehealth has been. Has it been good, or I'm putting you on the spot?
Yeah, I think I was one of the original patients when it was plant-based telehealth.
Mhm.
And yes, I've had some ups and downs. However, I feel that it's saved my life.
Nice.
I would not be alive today at age 73 if I had not encountered you and a physician that had left, before you. You led me, to Rochester Lifestyle Medicine, which I still am connected with. It's been a very good experience. I think I got a little bit ahead of myself and a little bit cocky last spring when I went down to BMI 24 and was able to have a normal A1C without meds. But I'll get back to that.
Mhm.
And it's nice to have people that know me that will escort me through that journey. So yes, I am a big proponent of lifestyle medicine. As a financial advisor, 80% of what costs our society $3.5 trillion. We talk about what can we do about the deficit. We can eliminate 80% of $3.5 trillion worth of expenses, whether it's doctor visits or insurance or bypasses, which I would dread having to do. So I'm a big fan. Thank you for asking.
And I love that I work with so there are now maybe 11 doctors on Love Life Telehealth, and they're a brain trust that if I see somebody who I have questions about, or I'm not sure how to help, I can ask all of my partners. And so it's great because we really, all of us want the best for individuals, for society. And you're right, it would make such a difference in society to be healthier if our society was healthier. And it makes a difference not only for the chronic diseases you talked about, or we talked about, but with COVID, we know that those people who had a healthier lifestyle and ate healthier did much better with surviving COVID if they got it. And that included, they did studies in Europe with doctors who ate a certain way and lived a certain way, and they had about a 70% decreased risk of morbidity and mortality from COVID than those who didn't eat healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. So it's very important for infectious disease. It's very important for chronic disease. It's very important for our society. We see our kids now. We need to teach our kids, because we see kids at 10 years old with fatty streaks, which are the precursors for heart disease. Our society, we see differences in intellectual ability, and we see that in workplaces because there's so much, if you have healthier employees, there's less presenteeism, there's less absenteeism, but presenteeism is just as bad because you go to work sick or unhealthy, you have more risk of not being as efficient, but more accidents. So let's make our society healthier and happier.
Thank you. The biggest takeaway for me today was your statement, well, let's become addicted to good health. I like that. I'll remember that the next time there's a bit of food I need to resist. That's a great statement. And thank you, Dr. Scheuer, very, very much for your time. Again, I think on love.life telehealth, there are podcasts and all kinds of wonderful ways you can kind of at a distance meet the doctors. I've met many of them who've given presentations on it. I would check it out, definitely. Let's become addicted to health. And thank you again, Dr. Kim. I hope to get you back on with another subject.
Well, thank
Um,
you. I mean, I love what you're doing to make this world better. So thank you. It's an
oh,
honor.
that makes me feel good. All the best to everyone, and we would appreciate feedback in the comments. Please subscribe to our channel. We have lots of interesting information. It's my goal at least once a month to have a medical session with somebody who knows what they're doing. So all the best to everyone, and thank you again, Dr. Kim.